Alright guys, so the next thing I want to do is I'm actually going to utilize a master and it's blank anyways, and I want to do my second page in my portfolio. So when you have it selected, what does that mean? How do you know it's selected? Yes, hopefully you said because it's blue and I clicked on it. So I can left click and hold and drag it down and boom, that page is set up, okay? It's now blank, but you know what? Here's the other way you can work. You can work right on top of your master page. So if I've double clicked it, it selects it, and I'm gonna go ahead and I know I want a big main image, and then I'm just going to have a little bit of type describing it, okay? I also want to reuse the idea of having my website. You always want your contact information on every single page just so people don't feel like, oh, I got to scroll back to the beginning page. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so if you recall, use your frame, rectangular frame tool. I'm going to click and drag it. See? And then I am going to place the image so I kind of get an idea of how it's going to look. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Place or hit Command D on a Mac, and then I am going to use one of my actual illustrations here, my Halloween one, because it's one I like, and I'm going to click on that and I'm going to hit Open. Okay, it's really big, so like we talked about, it's a little too big because it's formatting to the width of it and you can't see the entire image. So we talked about how I could actually fit the content in. I can go to my object, go to fitting, fit content proportionally, or you can use these keyboard shortcuts, which is what I prefer, but since you're just learning this, there you go, boom. And that's the way I want it, and I want it to fit in that live area, okay? All right. Oh, and by the way, what I did was I just wanted to clean up my frame, and so I'm holding down Command Option and the letter C as in carrot, and then that frame no longer has the extras on the side. Okay, so now I want some text, and so I want to click on the T for type, and then I'm just going to drag a text box that is the width of here. I'm going to bring it up a little bit because I want to have room for my contact information, and I think I'm going to make it centered in the bottom. Okay, so I am going to call this, give it a title. I see how the font, I can just click that and then type in the future I want. And I want it to be book because I want it to be the same. Okay, so I'm going to title my work title. You don't have to. You can come up with your own thing and how you want to do it. Happy Halloween. I am going to use my keyboard shortcuts. Like I said, you can come up here and change it, but I'm using my keyboard shortcuts and I'm going to do this a little bit faster. And I'm going to bold it. And so if I want to bold it, I would come up here and change it to bold, but I'm using my keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so the next thing is I could talk about how did I make this? Is it digital? Is it handmade? This is actually handmade. I want this to be back to book. Okay. And it is medium is paper, cut paper, and I use light. Yeah, that's basically it. Cut paper, oh, and glue. So I can put that. And if I want this to be less of an emphasis, I could maybe make it smaller. So like I said, you have to select it to affect it. So I'm double left clicking on it. And then I can just come up here and change the point size here, or I could use my keyboard shortcuts. I want to increase my leading, so I'm using my keyboard shortcuts. But like I said, you could change it up here. Okay, and then I want to include information about where people can find me. So if I want to, I'm going to clean up this text box because I know I want it to be cleaned up here. I'm going to copy this text box. So if I hold left click on this and hold the Option key, see I get the double arrows. It's the selection and the direct selection, and then I can left click and drag. And so for me, I'm using my smart guides. I'm going to center it, and I want to include my contact information. So I deleted that, and oops. There we go. Okay. And you can always hit Command Z if you make a mistake. Okay, so I want my website. And I'm going to add that same line again and my email. There we go. And I think I want it to ride just on that pink line. So I'm just moving it with the arrow keys. I'm going to hit W just to preview it. I think I want this more centered, so let's grab it. Oh, I think I like it better centered. There we go. Center it. Boom. There we go. Now, because I'm on the master page, look at what happened. Page 2. Boom. Now, I know I want to use this template because I have more vertical images. So what I'm going to do is, I know I'm going to reuse this, and the nice thing is I can actually click and drag this down here, or I can insert more pages onto my actual document, and it could be that same format. See, it just formats it for me. And I know my next image is a 6x9 as well. And so I'm going to, the one thing is, look, if I click on it, nothing moves. Because with your masters, because it's on the master, you can't edit it, but I can edit it because there's a way to get around that. What I do is to unlock it. Okay, if I just left click, it's going to do nothing. But if you click on your command, hold your shift key down, and then left click, you got to hold those keys down. Boom, there you go. And this releases it. I know it's released because the anchor points are now showing up. So now I can go in, use my direct selection tool. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Place. And then I'm going to look for my other image. I'll pop that in there. And boom, it's in there. So that's the nice thing about the formatting. So it's really nice. Now I can do the same thing with the text. See, if I click it, it doesn't affect it. But if I hold the Command plus the Shift key on a Mac and use the Control key plus Shift if you're on a PC, and then I can click it. And then I'm going to say I need to change the title here, and it's Some Bunny Loves You, exclamation point, and then I would put it's cut paper, and it's not so much the light, but I used acrylic space ink. Yeah. Yeah, it was the acrylic ink. So that's what I used, and then it's updated on this one. So now let's think about this. So what if I had to make a change and I want to add, I want to remove my email address? So instead of like, if I had a 50, 20, I mean, not that you would have that many in your portfolio, but say you have 10 pages, 12 pages of images in your portfolio, and you're like, I don't want to have to go in and change it. I could, you know, select this and release it, but just go to your master page, double left click on it. It's blue, so you've selected it, you can affect it, and then I can go to T for type, and then I can just select that, and then I can hit the delete key and I remove it. So maybe I just want to keep it really clean and simple. But now when I go here, look at on my actual pages, it's been updated. Okay, so really helpful. Hit Command S to save it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to exporting your file as a PDF or as a JPEG for that potential client that you want to impress with your artwork. So I'm going to move into that next.